Hey, sorry, the camera got too hot, so it is kind of a hot day. But anyways, I was talking about Redeem Zoomer and how we need to be patient with the young men, and the young men need to be able to answer questions and be treated with a certain kind of respect. And I think that it's a particular danger. Young men are showing an interest in religion, see religion as key to a resurgence in this nation, a reawakening in this nation. And it's a very ghastly thought that you might have a period in which young men are showing interest in the church, which is not normal. At least it hasn't been normal in modern times. Normally women are the ones promoting churches. I mean, even the founding of the first Presbyterian church in Caldwell, Idaho was spearheaded by women, and they're the ones who were like raising money to the Presbyterian Society to build the first church. The church was half built before the first pastor even got here. So the idea that you could have young men interested in the church, it's just young men aren't willing to compromise the truth. And there's a lot of problems in this country. All the migrants we brought in, especially Muslim migrants, used to bring in refugees from Christian countries, and that's how we ended up with a Presbyterian church that was the primary mainline church in America. And now we have brought in so many migrants from other religions, and the idea would have been probably originally to convert them. I remember even back in the 90s, so many books about converting Muslims once we get them here, such talk, but the church fell down and failed to execute on that plan of bringing them here and converting them. So now we're stuck with all these growing Muslim populations from Bosnia. In Boise we have Bosniaks. I mean, this happened back in the 90s. Bill Clinton attacked Bosnia and then brought all these persecuted Muslims here, and now they're here for the long term, but they don't belong here. This is not a Muslim country, and we did bring them here, so sort of a catch-22 for them. But the right thing to do would be to send them back to their country, and guess what? They're probably going back with a lot more education, can have seen America for 20 some odd years and how we do things right. They can take America back with them. That would actually be the best thing for our relationship in the world. But instead they're here and they're trying to promote Sharia law in our nation, and it's just not what this country was built on. Religious freedom, yes, for the Christian religion. Read all the founding documents and you'll see they talk about the Christian religion to promote true religion, which is the Reformed Presbyterian religion, because the Roman Catholics were killing us in Europe. There was too much of that, and so we needed a country where we could, as Protestants and Reformed believers, particularly Calvinists, not so much Lutherans, but now we really turned into a different kind of experiment, maybe a liberal Enlightenment experiment, but that was never the intention. In fact, I was just giving a presentation on Witherspoon. His first talk at Princeton, the inauguration of his presidency, was the unity of piety and science. Witherspoon rejected the Enlightenment ideal that you would separate your religious life from the life of science. They are united because God is one creator and one redeemer, both at the same time. He doesn't cease to be the creator when he becomes the redeemer. Jesus, John says in John 1, is the one by whom all things were made, and without whom nothing was made that was made. Makes it extremely clear that Jesus is the creator, that he's the Son from all eternity, eternally begotten, not the Son that was adopted at his baptism, as if Jesus was born merely a man and became divine and was not eternally divine. In Philippians 2 it actually says that he, well, and John 17, that he put down his glory. He had glory before he condescended to the earth. He put down his glory and then he would take it up again. Jesus was eternally God, and that's very clear. Man, I could walk in New Plymouth every day. Such a beautiful place to walk. Small town Idaho, small town America. And there's no mosque here. There's only the Christian religion. And it's frustrating to see young people, the young people trying to figure things out. The Reconquista movement is misguided. The idea that we just go and reconquer old churches, a lot of energy spent on that. But instead what we should do is we should plant churches, and we should have a unity movement. In fact, Redeemed Zoomer says the most god-awful things. He says things like, it's sinful to plant a church. If you don't have more churches to meet the need of a growing population and you're filling those churches with new converts, then you're a dying church. He's saying it's sinful to plant churches, which is just really insane. Also, we should have a unity movement, not a Reconquista movement. There should be a unity movement, and in that unity movement, by uniting with others of like faith, conservative, confessional, not driving further wedges between conservatives like Redeemed Zoomer is trying to do. I'm afraid this younger generation is currently on a crash course with some wicked desires to overthrow the old generation. When I was younger, I had that. I don't want to overthrow the older generation. I want to work with them for the glory of Christ, spreading the gospel. And it's important to me that we do that we work together for the glory of Christ, not that we would work for some sort of like institutional reclaiming buildings, which it's nice to have good buildings. That's sort of outward conformity, it's the outward conformity that we can idealize, that we would take over old beautiful churches. Well, I think if we have a unity movement, that will be a consequence, that old churches will come up for sale, and instead of them being turned into mosques, they'll be turned into Christian churches again. But we need a unity movement of all the Reformed churches. We need to stop dividing along lines. It says that be ye separate in the scriptures, and to come out from among them. Well, that's if you are coming out from among the wicked, like Lot did, coming out from among the world, evil, coming out from the evil of the world, not having any fellowship with evil. You may have to come out from among your family. You may have members of your family who've resisted your life in Christ, refused to see you as the new creation that Jesus says those who walk in newness of life are new creatures, new creations. So I would encourage you to seek to unify with your brothers, unify in like faith. Stop these silly divisions upon the basis of differing interpretations of baptism. There was one controversy in the church about differing interpretations of baptism, and it was between Apollos and Priscilla and Aquila. And guess what? When Apollos, who was a superior teacher, in fact, was confronted by a husband and wife and partners in the gospel with Paul, he changed his view on baptism. We don't need to maintain separate views on baptism. That's sinful, and we need to unite in the biblical view of baptism, the biblical view that it is a sign of the covenant, that it reminds us of our ingrafting into Christ. The signs of the covenant were signs that you were redeemed by grace, and that God is a gracious God, and that He loves you. It's not just a statement of faith. This is something that I think comes out of pagan religions, that your coming of age ceremonies, that's what the Baptists have turned baptism into. When I ask them why they don't have their 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds baptized because they clearly have faith, they don't have an answer. And it's uncomfortable, for them to answer that question. And so we've turned it into when you're 13, you come of age and you get baptized. And I don't even know if we properly catechize kids anymore prior to baptism in those churches, because we do that when they come to the Lord's Supper. But these are the kinds of things that we divide on, and it's sinful. We divide along whether you're in the PCUSA or the OPC or the PCA or the BPC, and there should be unity. We should separate from evil and unite with the saints. Jesus united us with His blood. We can unite the churches under the banner of Jesus Christ, under the banner of heaven. So unite with me, like, subscribe, join more of my walk and talks, comment. I would love to hear a bit of a comment down in the comments. Say, hey, this is what my testimony means to me, or this is what this unity movement resounds in my heart. And I've heard Redeemed Zoomer, these are the things I agree with you on, and these are the things I agree with him on. I want to hear those kinds of feedback. I want to hear from you what it means for you to be redeemed by Jesus Christ. What does it mean to be justified by faith? If you're Roman Catholic, unite with your Protestant brothers as you have come so far. I know some Roman Catholics read the Bible and they say, you know what, this is what the scriptures say. We accept the scriptures. We're not going to attack you for believing sola scriptura. We're not going to make up stories about how you want to interpret the Bible for yourself. Yeah, there's problems with people wanting to interpret the Bible for themselves. Even in the Roman church, there's SSPX, there's differing interpretations of when we divide. Let's unite, let's come to the true faith, that we're saved by grace and not by works, lest anyone should boast, but that we are saved unto good works, that we can do good works for God together. Let's leave this era of division and enter into a new era of unity in Christ. So bless you, and glad to be with you. Here I am at the elementary school track. It's where my boys do track and field, and I get to come with you and do some walk and talks. All right, bless you. See you next time. Bye-bye.